When is D-Day? Really? My wife, 37/F, and I have been married for 12 years and together for 16. We first met in college. We have a 6-year-old child. We've been saving for years, and we finally purchased our first home last year. We've had some ups and downs, but we've managed to maintain a long-lasting relationship. At this point, I'm not even sure what to name D-Day. The reality is so murky. Is this the first time I've discovered anything was going on months ago? Is it the previous week? What happened last night? Or maybe it's today. Perhaps D-Day was last year. It began the way these things usually do. My wife was up late messaging someone on her phone. It might have been relatives or friends, but something didn't seem right. She had been quite cautious of her phone, but I saw a chance and snatched it while she was in the shower. She had been flirting with her colleague Jack Harkness in a semi-discreet manner. I don't know what more to say. It was obvious that this was a new relationship, but she was being daring. Much more daring than I'm accustomed to seeing from her. I questioned her on the subject. She said she didn't do anything wrong and that it was simply a colleague. She was furious at me for eavesdropping. A week later, when she gets ready in the morning, she leaves her phone unlocked on the nightstand. However, a notice from Jack appears at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't confront her since I don't want to wake up my kid. In any case, I'm terrible at confrontation. That afternoon, I discuss it with my therapist. He suggests I should approach her about it and find out what's going on. Requests that she show you her phone. And I do as well. When she arrives home, I ask to see her phone. She declines. She is entitled to privacy. I inquire whether she has been conversing with him. He's messaged her maybe 2 or 3 times, she claims. I am adamant on watching it. She tells me I'm hallucinating and that I need to get treatment to overcome this. I assure her that's great and that once I see her phone, I'll get assistance. She finally gives in. Over the previous 2 weeks, I've received 50-100 mails 2 or 3 times. They seem benign enough, yet she lied about them. We go to therapy. Again, we had gone previously when our child was first born for about 6 months. Our counselor worked up a plan for reconciliation, but it needed her to stop communicating with him and a promise from me to put divorce on the back burner. My wife claims she no longer likes our counselor. We will never return. Perhaps D-Day was last week. My wife has been messaging her buddies all morning. I see her PIN for unlocking her phone. I'm still skeptical at this point, and it's eating me up. I have 30 seconds when she leaves her phone out of sight, so I unlock it. Just enough time to see she's messaging him again, but her name has changed to Harkness J. I don't get to read the messages. When I chat to her, I question whether she's still talking to Jack. She claims to be, but there isn't anything there. He's simply a buddy, and I've never told her not to speak to him. She said she needed to talk to him because they worked together. I don't ask to view the text messages, and she doesn't offer to show them to me. Does it really matter at this point? Would it be beneficial? Perhaps D-Day was yesterday night. She was in a bad mood all day yesterday. Upset, anxious, you're avoiding me. I took her phone from her bedside last night while she was sleeping. My heart is pounding. What if she awakens? What am I doing snooping? What will I discover? I'm filled with humiliation and worry. I type in the PIN, incorrect. This time, there aren't enough digits. Her new PIN is a little longer. Well, effing it. I opt to sleep on the sofa at this time. She gets out of bed and goes downstairs, inquires whether everything is all right. I tell her I have a headache, which is correct at this point, and that I'm feeling nauseated. Also true. She inquires as to whether I have a fever or if I have COVID. I promise her that I do not. It was just a sinus headache. She invites me to come up to bed and tell her what's wrong. I inform her that I believe she is having an affair. She claims she would never do such a thing. She inquires whether this is about the other man. I inquire as to why she flirts with him. She claims it's because it's enjoyable. That's the end of it. My headache overpowers me, and I tell her I need to sleep. Today is, I suppose, D-Day. I'm exhausted. Emotionally as well as physically. I'm sick of the trickling truth's leaky faucet. I'm sick of the nuclear football with mobile phones. I'm sick of being worried and knowing that I'm always half right and leave feeling like an 80. I'm at a loss for words when she arrives home. I'm bad at dealing with conflict. I simply want this nightmare to stop. Story 2. My 29 female boyfriend 30 male, and I struggle with trust and weed. My partner, 30M, and I have been dating for nearly 3 years. However, we dated for a half year around 10 years ago, and then became friends, long distance. So we've known one other for a while. We have a daughter, 1F, and I am expecting a boy. My primary problem with him is a lack of trust. I realize this is a touchy subject, but I'm not alright with viewing porn. I told him this right away. I would have been willing to communicate about the subject, which I also informed him. But he said he wouldn't watch it, and I assumed that was the end of it. Cue multiple instances in our relationship when he confesses to still viewing it. We have lengthy discussions about it. He promises to quit, rinse, and repeat. The most recent came a few months ago. When he informed me, I believed you meant I didn't know you felt hentai was porn. The problem is we misunderstood the sort of media. O.K. The second issue is cannabis usage, which is more essential to me for the reasons you will see. He is a marijuana user. The problem is that I am a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober for 6 months now. I have been sober my whole pregnancy, and I was sober my whole pregnancy with my daughter, too. To be honest, I'd rather he didn't smoke at all. I don't want pot in my life at all. Weed is a major stressor for me. Whenever I used pot in the past, I was also drinking, either before or after the event. We came to an agreement since he was insistent about continuing to smoke. The agreement was that he would only smoke after our daughter had gone to bed and that he would never smoke in the home. Months later, I enter into our bedroom to find him smoking in our bed. He admits to doing it every night despite his pledge not to do so in the home. After that, I really remained with my father for a week or two because I was afraid of relapsing, and since he had lied to me for months. Following that, we agreed, again, no cannabis in the home. He explained to me that he was doing it because he didn't understand. It was such a huge issue to me. He is well aware of my addiction and how cannabis serves as a trigger. After that, he smoked every night for a while. He wanted to do it throughout the day as well, but I told him no way, for the sake of our kid. Although I am okay with him smoking, I don't want to be with him when he is doing so, therefore we spend most evenings apart. We discussed it again about a month ago, and we agreed he could smoke at work. He works in retail, and he could smoke once a week at home after the baby was sleeping. So without informing me, he was smoking last night and I didn't notice it. It was not a night we had agreed for him to smoke. I approached him and kissed him, and I could taste or smell, or both, it on him. I inquired, and he confirmed that he was smoking. I was appalled at the idea of kissing someone who had just smoked. I told him about it the following day, today. This time he said he misunderstood and assumed we agreed he would smoke on all his evenings off. We reconfirmed that he would smoke one night each week. At the conclusion of the talk, he informed me he was going to smoke tonight, after smoking the night before. I know I'm asking a lot of him, but for the sake of my children, my sobriety must come first, and it seems that I'm already bending my ideals for him. All of my conversation seems to go in one ear and out the other. I'm tired. After all of his lies and unfulfilled promises, I can't trust him. Why should I trust him at this point? I'm still battling for us since we have a little kid and are expecting another. We adore one another. I'm at a loss for what else to do. We do have a couples therapy session in a few weeks, so that's something. Anyone have any suggestions?